I want to welcome the GMs and the wives, the godly men and the warm, inviting, feminine, empathetic women out there. Today's video is a Semen Retention Sunday episode on the Regal Change YouTube channel here. For those that are just joining, my name is Thaddeus, and today I want to talk about semen retention being swole in mind, body, and soul. Now, even though this is kind of a funny title, the point is still standing, in which that semen retention is basically God's natural way of reorienting yourself to the greatest possible version of yourself through disciplining sexual desire. And I'm now to the point, because I'm nearly 2 years into semen retention now, almost to the day here in a couple weeks. And one thing that I've really noticed over the past 2 years is that not only will you become more of a proper version of yourself physically, but also emotionally you're able to regulate yourself better, and spiritually you just naturally fall into more of an alignment. In fact, if it wasn't for semen retention, I don't think I ever would have started doing YouTube videos or started my own side business and multiple of other projects that I have going on. If it wasn't for semen retention, I wouldn't be doing these things. And likewise, if it wasn't for semen retention, I wouldn't have the energy to be doing these things. I'd just be giving out my spiritual attention to God knows what somewhere else. And this is really what it comes down to, is you're going to be able to make better decisions and unbecome everything that you're actually not, because you're retaining your essence. This is so much more than just, I see some of these people that are doing semen retention videos, and there's been a few more females recently that I've seen more in the past few months talking about semen retention. And I don't think they really understand the spiritual aspect in a way that perhaps they could be wanting to share with you more in depth. On this channel, we talk about a variety of different kinds of topics, but we always try to go in depth on all of the topics that we do talk about, and to really get at the roots of the issue. I'm not a surface level person, and it is my experience that the people that are actually wanting to get at the deeper level stuff, those are the ones that are actually thinking for themselves more often than not. They're not just part of some kind of ideology. They actually have an independent mind. They've actually got a sovereign mindset in which they structure their lives in a way based on characteristics and virtues such as integrity, as perseverance, as courage, boldness, etc. And semen retention is going to naturally be giving you these interdimensional tools, so to speak, these internal dimensional tools, to give you the possibility to actually live the life that you want to live in a way that is conducive to and in congruence with the highest form of spiritual alchemy, you could say, that you can possibly manage to have within your spirit. And so this is another form of semen retention. Is, again, it's focusing on the spiritual aspect, but the physical aspect is going to be a natural byproduct of this. I've noticed something where whenever I started semen retention, after a couple months, I started to lose weight a lot quicker. And because I was already a little bit overweight, but not too much at the time, because I had already been on my I don't like saying my weight loss journey, but that's kind of what it was. I was nearly 200 pounds at 5'6" at one point, 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago now. And so 2 years ago when I started semen retention, I was still a little bit overweight, but not too much. And by the time I was 6 months into semen retention, I had pretty much maintained a healthy weight of about 155 pounds. And I fluctuated between that 5 pounds, give or take, ever since that time period, about 6 months into my semen retention journey. And the reason I think it's been so much easier to maintain is because I'm able to make proper decisions that align with my spiritual principles so much more easily. I don't have to think about, I'm to the point to where I will still feel a desire. Like if I see a beautiful woman, a very gorgeous woman that, sure, she would look like it would be a lot of fun together. But I'm able to completely let go of that physical desire and pretty much channel the energy from my, you could say, my sacral chakra, let's say. Channel that energy into my crown chakra or my third eye chakra to connect more with my vision and to connect more with my sense of self and to connect more with the divine source of creation. And so I'm channeling that in my meditations whenever I do feel that desire. It's actually kind of helpful sometimes to meditate on these kinds of desires and to see why it is that you actually have these kinds of desires in the first place. Why is it that you desire maybe a particular kind of woman? And why is it that a particular kind of woman is really attracted to you? It could be your physical attributes, of course, but it also could be your mental attributes. Once women see that, because I'm definitely not the most ripped person in the world, but I'm pretty healthy. I'm pretty healthy, and I am to the point now to where I will literally be walking down like an aisle at the grocery store, or I'll be in the gym or whatever, and literally I can hear as I walk past, I can hear people say, "Oh, damn. Oh, shit." Like they women will literally swear. They will swear when they see me because I'm just carrying this kind of presence about myself. And there is a sense of pride that I have to make sure that I don't let get to my ego in a sense, because there was a time where I was completely invisible to most women on the planet. When I was nearly 200 pounds, man, and I was not confident, I was not really competent, I was not disciplined. I was very spiritual and I was very in tune with the spirituality of myself, but I wasn't disciplined in that spirituality. I was just kind of like a spiritual glob that was just kind of bouncing everywhere. Never really had any kind of form of structure. And even just the way that I walk now, I've heard women talk to me, well, not to me, but about me as I walk by. Look at the way he walks. Look at the way he walks. And this is like, this is just a natural swag that you're going to develop with semen retention. And this is part of the reason I think that in many ways I'm getting the kind of attention that I do in my community, because it's not always the most fun thing to be constantly watched. I just made the video yesterday about gang stalking and how you're envied and you're scarce. And this is true, especially if you're on semen retention, or if you're a woman watching this perhaps and you're celibate. Now, celibacy and semen retention are not necessarily the same thing, but for all intents and purposes, let's just say that celibacy is just a form of purity and semen retention is a form of purity as well. So when you are participating in forms of purity, you're going to naturally have this inclination to be attractive to many different kinds of people, whether they want to take your energy or whether they want to share that energy or whatever it is that they want. It's not always clear what they want. You can really see through them, though, after a while. You can really see through them. Just one look in their eyes, and you can see the dead shark eyes, or you can see that there's like a little glimmer of light twinkling in the back of their mischievous human being self in the front. Because everybody has a mischievous side to them, but it's the ones that actually recognize that they can be mischievous if they wanted to be but choose not to. Those are the ones that you want to, in my opinion, be around the most, because those people, and there are some that, well, actually almost everybody that I've seen in the private community that we have in the Regal Change Academy, almost everybody's had that sense about themselves. Everybody there has had a sense of understanding that they are capable of something more. They're capable of being the villain, let's say. But they're choosing to do good, even if it means being seen as the villain. And this is another trait that makes you kind of attractive. Not even kind of attractive. It makes you very attractive, is to be as dark and mysterious as evil, but yet your actions and your virtues and the way that you carry yourself is as good as good and greatness. And this is really where the power of God comes into play. And this is just something that I've noticed with a lot of women, that they see this about you. And unfortunately, as great as it is to hear these things when you walk by a group of women and they say these things about you, and then you can feel them staring at you as you walk behind, and then if you happen to look their way, they're all just like this. Their jaws are dropped. They literally like spiritually have like drool hanging out of their mouth, and they look at you like they could just eat you up for all day long. And that's a great feeling. That's a great feeling. But it's not a great feeling comparatively to the fulfillment that you get in growing close to God. It's not a great feeling comparatively to the feeling that you get when you invest in yourself, and that you put yourself first, especially as a man. You put yourself first. There's nothing that compares to those kinds of feelings. No matter how attractive the woman is, no matter how, like, whatever kind of material thing that you possess, whatever kind of achievement that you have, there's nothing more powerful and there's no better feeling than to see a work that you've committed well done and crafted to the best that you could possibly do. There's no better feeling than that. And even though when you complete it, like whenever you complete a task or a piece of work and then you get that feeling, the moment is very fleeting, but in that moment it's great. And then there's the next thing, and you go to the next thing. That's the beauty of this life, is that especially with working out and such, I mean, you can always progress. This is one thing that I found really useful about working out and just the physical health and the nutritional health in general. You can always be better. You can always be a better version of your physical self. Right now, one of my goals is to basically be a hybrid. I am going to be as cardio developed and as capable of running longer distances as anybody that is normally doing like 10Ks or half marathons, etc. But I also want to be as strong as some of the power lifters in there. And something that I've noticed is calisthenics as well is very useful with this. I've been doing a lot more calisthenics lately, and it feels more natural. It really does. It feels more natural. It feels more natural to do calisthenics than to lift weights. And a lot of that, I think, has to do with just how we humans have evolved. I know that calisthenics is something that even the ancients focused on heavily, specifically in Greece. These were a lot of things that they focused on. And so it was very interesting to get into the state where I can actually do a lot of different kinds of calisthenic workouts now. Socrates said that it's a shame. I might be paraphrasing here, but he said something along the lines of it's a shame for some people to grow old never seeing what the body is fully capable of. And all of these ancient philosophers, or these just ancient people in general, they had a really well-balanced diet. They were really well off internally, physically, and spiritually. They were just aligned. And now, even though we have a lot of benefits of like fast food, or we have benefits of grocery stores, we have designated places to work out, and like we can do a bunch of different things. We don't really have to hunt. We don't really have to even store food necessarily in a certain way anymore. There's so many different kinds of I don't know exactly the word. I was going to say forget it. There's so many different kinds of ways. Let's just leave it simple. There's so many different kinds of ways that we can allocate our time. That's what I was going to get to, the allocation of time. So we can allocate our time in so many different ways now and benefit so many different kinds of people. Videos like this that are educational, that are in depth, that are going to get at the root of everything that is involved on the topic, this is going to be something that revolutionizes our species as a whole if we know how to use it properly. And that's the hope. That's the hope down the line, is that we use it properly and we show how we can use this information for the benefit, not just only for ourselves, but for our other fellow people and the world as a whole. So with that being said, I hope this message was useful and insightful. And until next time, peace be with you.